Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Danville Architectural Heritage Special Call Meeting. Well, I'm sorry, board meeting. This is our regular meeting, Wednesday, September 19th, 9:30. Welcome to all. Tiffany, do we have city attorney present?
No, sir.
Do we have any members of the city commission present?
No, sir.
Thank you. First order of business is the approval of minutes for August 22nd, 2018.
There's a correction in the minutes, I think, on item number 10. Should that be what are the key designs instead of what the key designs? That last sentence.
That's not the minutes, that's the agenda.
That's the agenda.
Okay, that's, okay.
Yes.
But yes.
Yes.
Well, okay, should not that be changed while it's just a typo, I'm sure.
We can change that, but let's carry on with the minutes.
All right, good deal.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes. And she has a whole packet here with,
Yes, I included the attachments from that meeting. It was Mr. Wade's statement and the sign-in sheet
Okay,
of everybody that was in attendance.
thank you, ma'am.
It was just easier in typing it over.
Very well, very well. I have a motion to approve. Have a second. Melody, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. None approved, none opposed. I'm stuttering this morning. First order of business, certificate of appropriateness, 103 South 2nd Street. Install a mural and interpretive design. And Ms. Hamner, I think it's your turn
That'd
at
be
the
me.
podium.
Is it on? Yes, okay. Yes, have you all seen the mural that was painted at the Soul of 2nd Street Festival? Has
We
everybody
have.
seen that? Mayor Bowling, have you seen it?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
well, you didn't nod, I was gonna give you a picture.
Thanks for clarifying that, yes.
The Heart of Danville commissioned the painting with no future in mind for it, no definite future in mind for it.
There you go.
How about that? The Heart of Danville commissioned the painting for the festival. It was quite a to-do, and the man took 4.5 hours to do it, and I think it is amazing. You can even feel the perspiration on Bunny's face. It's just amazing. And I immediately loved it. So the Monday after the festival, I called Nick and asked if there was any plans, and there were no definite plans that he had. So I suggested that if the McDowell House would agree, that I would hang it on the wall between my parking lot and McDowell House, right on the street, so that everybody who went down 2nd Street would see it. I think that's the appropriate place to hang Bunny. That was the heart of the black business community, and that speaks for itself. So that's the plan. Nick took it to the Heart of Danville Board of Directors, and they unanimously approved the plan. I took it to the McDowell House Board. I'm a member of that board, and they gave it unanimous approval. I've talked to Blacksmith. He's going to make brackets that go up and over the wall so that we don't actually penetrate the wall. We just hang it over the top. The wall is not original to McDowell House. It was put there in the 40s, early 50s. We don't know exactly, but we can see in the pictures and the age of cars, we can tell when it was there and when it was not, so it's not a historic structure. But at the same time, it is old enough, I didn't want to penetrate it, do it any damage, so we're going to hang it on brackets. It'll be a temporary installation so that we can take it down if we want to. We just lift it off and take it away. Not that anybody would or could do that because it's a heavy dude. It's 8 by 12. It's on a 1/2-inch exterior grade signboard, and it is framed on the back side with 2x4s. We're going to seal those 2x4s, seal the edge of that signboard, and hang it up and see how long it lasts.
That was my question, because the 2x4s did not look to be treated, so I was a little worried about their life expectancy.
I talked with the artist, and he told me that the ones around the edge of the sign were treated. I don't know. I'll
Okay,
have to look at that.
okay.
But I'm going to paint them in any way, and I'll have 2 coats of probably black enamel
Okay.
on them. Joni told me that 5 years was the length of time that you approved murals for. So that's fine with me. We'll hang it up there and let it hang 5 years. If it lasts that long, if it melts away in the weather, which I don't believe it will, but if it becomes, damaged or anything, we can always take it down. But, and we can leave it longer, I guess, if I came back for an extension of time, if 5 years wasn't long enough, correct?
Who's responsible to maintain it?
I am.
And how low do you think it's gonna hang, how is it gonna hang on the, I mean, yes, it's gonna hang by brackets, but position-wise?
It's going to attach, the bracket will attach to the back of it on the 2x4s, and then they will go up over the wall, back down the other side.
So how low is the painting gonna hang on the wall? I mean, is there?
It will hang about a foot from the top and about a foot from the bottom.
Okay.
I have a drawing that I made. I also want to put interpretive language on a sign to the side, that'll be here. That has
Okay.
all Bunny's accomplishments on it. I'll pass that around.
Yeah.
Do you know how big that sign is gonna be for the plaque?
How big? 8 by 12?
The plaque?
Oh, the plaque? No, I don't. I'm going to ask Michael Hughes to give me all the history he has on Bunny, and we'll pick what we need to put on it, and the size will be determined for that. I
be
did
quite
check with
big.
planning and zoning to see if we needed a sign permit to hang that interpretation of the painting, and he said, no, we did not.
Actually, on the sign worksheet, it says 14 by 24,
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
which comes within the degrees of what you can allow on that as far as signage.
So that'd be the maximum, 14 by 24?
What's the sign gonna say?
Well, that's what you proposed, so I guess it's,
No, I didn't propose a size.
History of Bunny.
Somebody did.
it's right here.
I did not propose a sign. Well, maybe I did. I'm sorry.
I know her handwriting.
Okay.
But
I have
guess-
too many men in the field, and I can't keep up.
I understand.
Okay.
If,
It would
well,
be
if we're
14 by
going to
24.
approve it, which this would be the size that you're asking for approval for. If you
Okay.
want it to be bigger,
That'll be fine. I'll make it work.
Can we allow for staff approval if it goes over that?
yes.
So you could just go to Joni and get that approved, and we don't
Yes.
need to?
Yeah, we can staff
Yeah.
approve that, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I just need to make sure that we have the appropriate in documentation. That would be-
Because we don't know how big the letters are gonna be, right? We don't know
No,
how
I don't
much you're
know.
gonna put on there yet.
That's right.
so,
Until I
yeah.
get all the information, I'm not sure what it's exactly going to look like.
Chairman, I make a motion, we approve Mrs. Hammer's request.
I'll second.
Have a motion, have a second. Any further discussion? Looks good. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
None opposed. Thank you all.
Thank you very
I
much.
think this is a good deal, Janet.
Thank
Gonna
you.
look- Will look great. Yes, sir.
I'm glad you approved that. Let me give you just something real quick. In 1991, I was in New Orleans, speak to the National League of Cities on ADA. Well, while I was there, I met a couple from Detroit, Michigan. She was a council person for the city of Detroit, and I sat with her and her husband. And you're from Danville. Well, do you know Bunny Davis? And I said, absolutely. He's a great guy. I love that fellow. If you never knew him, and it's a shame this generation is not going to get to know Bunny.
Amen to that.
But I mean, just a fabulous individual. He said, I played with Bunny in the old Negro League. I say what? He said, yes, but I know Bunny. We played together. And he had some wonderful stories, but I think that's important that we remember Bunny. I mean,
I feel so
that's
lucky
a huge
to
loss
meet
to
him.
this community.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He was a treasure to this community.
John, how long was he on the commission? Do you remember?
Oh, there's a little story about Bunny. I don't know where I should share this. The press is here. I don't know where I should share this with the press, but
Go ahead.
Bunny was a commissioner for probably 12 to 16
Okay,
years,
yeah.
and Bunny always sat to my right. And Bunny always, and firearms were illegal in City Hall. We didn't carry them, but Bunny always
Except for Tom
carried
Bridge.
a loaded .38 pistol, and he would lay it out and lay it on his right thigh.
Really?
right by, and I kept telling him, buddy, that's illegal, you can't have that here, and he said, Mayor, if they come through that door, and they're gonna shoot you first, and what do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to save your life, and that's when I had this pistol there. But he did that for a couple of years, and he finally gave it up, but he got a new that carried it. Now, whether it was loaded or not, I don't know.
That's great.
That's the story about Buddy.
There we
But
go.
I will
Put that
say
on the
this,
plaque.
Buddy Davis's heart was in the
Oh,
right
yeah.
place for Danville.
Oh, yeah.
It sure was.
He's a great guy.
And he was loved by all.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Anyway, Janet, thank you for stepping up and mounting this. We appreciate that. Joni, do we need to review those staff-approved COAs or just to have them in the minutes satisfactory?
If you want to talk about any of them, we can. It's up to you. I know that there was some questions about the window replacement that Julie had on the Farmers Bank, and let me tell you, that building is a nightmare of construction. I'm just trying to figure out when, what happened. The windows I approved are on the second floor of the east side of that street. The very top one's on that last building, which is the Masonic Hall. The windows that are in there now are not the original windows that were there. I think they were probably put in there during the last phase of construction. I have to say, Mary helped me with that. She sent me information to help figure out what happened there, because
There was a lot.
there was a lot. But anyway, I looked at the windows that they're going to use. They're architecturally approved by most architectural historic districts, including in Lexington, Louisville. It will not change the profile of the windows. The only small thing that I was a bit concerned about, they're going to be clad in aluminum. But it won't change anything. And their wood underneath, that cladding will help protect, because I know that they weather really bad up on that top story. And if you can see the pictures, there is some serious deterioration. Now, Farmers Bank comes back and asks about any of the other windows getting more towards Main Street. That's where we're going to have a problem at, because those are wood mullions. That part of the building has now hit the 50-year mark, which makes it under the provision of this board. So we just have to take that building kind of a section at a time and what happened when there. But certainly the Masonic Hall is contributing, and I think what they're doing is appropriate for where that's at. Any place else on that building, we're going to have to look at pretty hard.
I just think in the future, I know I would like to see the condition of them if we're going to review it.
Right,
Yeah.
well, and I have to
But
apologize.
if you're going to review it, you probably already saw it.
Well, I
That was
did,
my
and I
only
went down there and
question.
looked at it, and I took some pictures, but
Yeah.
it was so glaring you couldn't see it. So I went back Friday and took more pictures, and I sent those to
need
you
to make
all.
you do that.
Yeah, there were condition issues with them too. But I agree with you, we need to be very careful with that building, because there's a lot going on there. Everything else is pretty straightforward, the installation of the new signs. And then the other one is the handicap accessible ramp down there on the church. You guys already approved that.
Right.
So I talked with Bridget, and we felt it would be appropriate just to roll that approval over. And we do have some others that are going to come up that have, they went past their time of a year to do it, so they're going to have to reapply for some COAs, which we will probably staff approve unless you guys have some reason you don't want to do
If
that.
they're
If
under
you've
the
already,
guidelines to be staff approved, that's
well,
why we
it's,
put that
if
in
you've already
place.
approved it once, this is just kind of an extension of that
Yeah.
approval. So, but we want to be real careful because we're kind of setting this up as we go. So I wanted to get your comment on that.
I think that if we've approved it in the past, unless something has changed so dramatically.
Right, right.
Or their design changed, if they're just asking for reapproval, I mean, I'm
Okay,
perfectly comfortable.
easy enough.
And thank you so much. It's really nice to not have to go through all of these with a fine-tooth comb.
Yes.
We love
Well, the big problem was the Farmers Bank. It took me a while on that one, so that's why it was a little late getting. I try to get this out to you guys on Friday because I want to make sure everybody has time to approve it and see what I've done. But that bank was, it was difficult. And without Mary, I'm pretty sure I still wouldn't know what was going on down there. So I have to thank a lot for that. That's pretty much it.
I have one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I have two things, actually. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that this mural we approved is the third mural that we've approved out of 4, so I was hoping we could make that statement.
Actually, since you've made that statement, I had hoped the city attorney would be here this morning, but in his absence, you have possibly some more murals in the pipeline?
Well, I believe that there will be a continuation of people asking to paint murals on the buildings.
That's good.
And I know that, it may be worth looking into with the city attorney and the city, given what happened last time and the mayor's comments about possibly having some work to do. There may be a need for a review process before it gets to you guys. I know that that's been batted around 2 or 3 times, but it may be something that you, as the chairman, need to sit down with the city attorney and maybe the mayor and try to have some discussion here. A lot
I
of
had hoped to discuss that this morning.
Well,
with the city
right.
attorney.
Well, y'all know I begged for that when we were doing
Right.
the guidelines.
Well,
Begged
there's a lot
for
of
that.
cities
And the
that.
city did not
And
want
they
that
did
at
not
the
want
time.
that.
They
So
did not want it,
maybe
but
now.
maybe now, and
Yeah.
given the mayor's comments, maybe that's an opportunity for you guys to talk with him about. I know there are a lot of cities that are grappling with these issues. It's pretty prevalent in the preservation world. And a lot of them have a review process for the murals that once it goes through that review process, then it goes to the Architectural Heritage Board, which may make the situation easier and more comfortable. Now that the city has kind of opened the door to talk about that, I think maybe you guys should step in and have that conversation. And that's just my recommendation to you.
I think as a
yeah.
board, we would definitely, I'm getting nods around
Yes.
without
Right.
a motion, but yes, I think we'd be quite open to that.
Well, let me draft a little memo and send it to you and Bridget and then the city attorney and the mayor also. And then maybe we can have a discussion about how this moves forward so
Very
that
good.
we don't have to put that kind of pressure on you guys. Because it's a lot to ask you all to approve content of murals, I think. And that's my opinion, but it's a lot to ask you, so.
And I will mention to the board, and some of y'all may have received it, but we've got a good complimentary note from Jane Dewey on the process. Jane Dewey, who is,
I didn't see that.
she's, I believe, sits on the, does she sit on your board? Yes. So with the Arts Center.
That may be a discussion worth having with them as well, with the
Yes,
Arts Center to include
yes.
them in it. I just think it would make the process easier and a lot less contentious when we get into these situations. It's certainly worth looking into. I don't know what the city will or won't do. It's just worth looking into, given the mayor's comments.
If you'll nudge those individuals, and we'll see
I'll
if we can
poke 'em.
move that forward.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Thank you.
Well, Joni, if you get any resistance, you may ask for a review of our guidelines.
Yes.
And if they don't want to go the direction of a separate committee, then we need more help in our guidelines.
Right, I agree. I agree with you. That
So
process
one way
needs
or
to be
another, we need some
defined.
change here.
I agree. And, the one thing I think we need to be pretty adamant about is now that all designs and everything have to be turned in at one time, so that there's no question about
Right.
the process. That would be my recommendation to you guys as we move forward, before we get maybe another committee, that everything needs to be done and completed before you guys see it. I think that would just make it easier.
Well,
on
we
the end.
learned. We learned a lot.
Sure, it's a learning process, and this is going to occur when we have new boards and new rules. It's just the way it is. But you guys did a great job, and I appreciate it.
Anything else before the board?
I mentioned to Joni that 4 of us have terms that are up for expiring and renewing, and I don't know what happens in the meantime.
I had talked to Bridget about it at one point when I first got the job, and she said you guys just serve until you're reappointed.
Okay.
So it would be up to the mayor, I'm assuming, to reappoint
Okay.
you, and I'll talk with her
replace.
about that, but you just keep going until
Okay, that was
some
my
action is
It's
taken.
kind of like streetscape, Janet.
8:31,
It's like-
9:30.
I don't think you're not going to get off of it that easy. So, that's it.
I don't know, it sounded like they were wanting to throw us off a couple of weeks ago.
Well, I don't think so. It's you guys are doing a hard job. It's a very difficult job to say no to people, and nobody likes it.
Yeah.
So,
Anything else? Motion to adjourn? Have a motion? Have a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
What time is it?